everyone, and welcome to the Shonky Lab. Yes, we're back again. I'm Elton McManus, and this is my good friend Lee Metcalf.
Well, hello there. Hello, listener land.
It's exciting, isn't it?
It's very strange.
It is a little bit, isn't it? Yeah. Weird stuff happening.
Yeah, it's very weird. But I'm looking at the chat room. I can see lots of people there. It's all good.
Hey, this is bonkers, man. If Black Dog did this, you'd have like 100 listening to it straight away.
Well, I don't know about that.
Maybe 100 hecklers throwing shit at us. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah. So I can see the chat going up. I can see Andy Palastides there, Jack Woodgate, Sean McGowan. They're all there. Yeah. Hello, everybody.
Hello. Yes, this is the Shonky Lab. I have brought Lee in to talk about arcades this week.
Yes.
I have been in arcades. I'm sure you have been in arcades, frequented them every now and again.
Yes, more than I should really, especially at my age.
Yeah, I find like I'm still drawn to them, like a moth to the flame every now and again.
No.
But for the new listeners, listening for the first time, either on the podcast or on the Mixler site, Shonky Lab is your show. I can't emphasise that more. Stop it.
Sorry.
It is a podcast which goes out whenever I record it, whenever I get the time to record it or the inclination to record it. Things have not been good recently, and so I have not put anything out because I'm not going to put out utter guff. I'm yet to see how this turns out, though.
It'll be fine, Elton. It'll be fine.
Oh, no. So if, for future reference, if guys want to, you can go to mixler.com/shonky-lab, and you can listen live on there, and talk and chat and type and stuff like that for you talky, chatty, typey type people, and interact with us. You can also Skype in. I'm not too sure if anyone's going to or not tonight, but there is the option of people to Skype in and join us in the conversation, whether it be about the topic that we're talking about now or something completely different. I don't know, it's up to them. It also come out on a podcast which is at shonkylab.co.uk, which is on iTunes and all your other podcasting chat thingamajiggies where you grab the show and then listen to it on your phone and such. So there we go. That's the intro done.
That's great. That's smooth as silk, Elton.
Yes, you're
Super
welcome.
polished.
You're
Yeah,
welcome. Anyway, so arcades. No, actually, no. I'm going to ask how you are. So, Lee, how are you?
I am fine. I'm sitting here in my Santa slippers. I've already got into the spirit of things.
Really? You're like the grumpiest bastard I know.
Thank you. I'll be leaving now. No. Yeah, no. It's just I've got they're very comfy slippers, so I'm keeping them. So there, and they're lovely. And I've been wearing them since 2013, I think, if I remember rightly.
Wow.
And yeah, so I'm into Santa slippers, which means it's starting to get cold. So heating chicken has kicked in properly.
Ah, okay.
And I went to fireworks, which was very nice, though they didn't seem to last very long.
Whereabouts did you go?
Blackheath.
Oh, okay.
You know, because I always have memories of fireworks going on for like hours and hours, and and lots of people going ooh ah, and then getting eventually bored until something really big explodes or someone catches fire, and it felt like we sort of stepped onto the heath at 8:00. The fireworks went, and we stepped off the heath at about 8:05.
Bloody hell.
At least it felt that way, and there were like 100,000 people going, was that it? It was like, oh, okay. But anyway, them's the breaks, them's the days. So apart from fireworks and that, I've been doing some stuff for Mr. Palastides, and doing some graphics and just chilling out before I start my new job in 2 weeks.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah. How about you, sir? How you been?
Well, I have to admit, I'm quite surprised that you're not joining the masses on playing Fallout 4 tonight, where it seems like they released that, and I was like, oh yeah, it'd be a good night to do a podcast, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the perfect night when only the hardcore will drop everything to come and listen.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. So, yeah. So, am I keeping you away from that? Have you bought it? Are you going to it or not?
I'll be honest with you. This is a little confession here, especially since we're about to talk about video games. But I don't actually like the Fallout series.
Really?
I don't like it.
Okay.
I get it. I see why people like it, but to me, it's just there's something about it. I think I played the first and the second one when Darren was getting into it, really getting into it, and he was into like, oh, you got to see this, it's amazing, and it was like an isometric RPG, and I'm like, yep. And then the third one came out, and and basically as it came out, it was like I got it on the Xbox. And there was this opening sequence, and there's a big gunfight and all this sort of stuff going on. And I thought, oh, brilliant. And I went to shoot someone in the face, and I was standing there. I'm being told, stone him, stone the blasphemer on the chat there. And I stood right against the bad guy. I mean, literally one of those sort of when you're not very good at shooting games and you sort of run straight up to them. So you're like literally like their eyes are filling the screen.
Mm.
I pointed the gun at him, pulled the trigger, and missed. And it's like, what? And then it's this whole thing of like, oh, actually, it doesn't really shoot. You don't really shoot. It makes a dice roll behind the scenes. And depending on your skill is whether or not you actually hit them. And it's like, really?
Oh, it's like reading a book, but without keeping your finger in the page, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit like that. It was just like, I was just like, really? Oh, right. Okay, so I could be the best sharpshooter with the steadiest hand in the world, but if this dice roll goes south, then I miss. It's like, oh, that's bollocks. I'm not playing that. And I, after Liam Neeson's character sort of went, that's enough for me. Off you go out into the wilderness. And I went, okay. I went out, drunk some toilet water, and I thought, no, this is just shit. I don't. Not in real life, you understand.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Well,
So. Yeah.
I'll give you a brief description on my history with the Fallout. I bought Fallout 3. I think I got it for a tenner on like a pre-owned from HMV or somewhere like that.
Yeah.
And it was just before Vegas was coming out. And I thought, okay, if I'm going to get into it, then I'll do this one. Then I know what I'm getting into on Vegas. And, we'll see how we go. I didn't know it was an RPG. And I can't stand RPGs. No, they don't do it for me at all. That's why I didn't like Mass Effect. The problem is, I have to ask all the questions. It's like playing the Lego games where you have to break all the blocks. I can't move on.
Mass Effect. You do have to. Andy's putting up loads of YouTube videos, which I'm not going to look at. He keeps putting them up there. I'm not looking at them.
No, avert your eyes.
Yes, eyes on the prize. Keep going, Ellen.
Yeah, but RPGs I don't really like, and I thought I didn't really know what I was getting into, so I got it, I put it in the game, loaded it all up, started playing it, and on Fallout 3 you had to take a test at the very beginning.
That's right.
It took me 45 minutes to sit down in that chair. There was some sort of glitchy bug that would not let me sit down in that flipping chair and take that test.
You see, the dice roll just said no. That's what it is.
I don't understand then. Why? I think I reinstalled it and then it let me sit down. So, that's a couple of days worth of bollocks, I'm not playing this. Bollocks, I'm not playing that again because that glitched out on me. I ain't going there. And so maybe the next week I uninstalled it, installed it again, and then started again and then prayed that I'd actually be able to sit down in this flipping chair. Sat down in the chair, did all the tests and stuff like that. Okay, right, this is kind of... this ain't for me. And I got to a certain point where they open the door, and this door rolls back, and it's like, the wild. You're like, good luck. And I was stood there on the edge, and someone's kicked me out on my arse. And I'm like, no, fuck this. Fuck it. Bollocks. Can't do it. And I know I've only got 1% into that game.
Yeah.
But at that point, I've just decided, no thank you.
Well, that's pretty much what I do. I mean, especially with big open world games. I mean, GTA's a bit different. But when you get things like Skyrim and all these other ones that just sort of go, ta-da, and then it's like you go through this little tiny corridor, you do a little tiny test, it goes, okay, this is your tutorial, and then it just opens a door and it just goes, go on in, off you go. You go, what do I do now?
Yeah.
And I just it gets too much for me. I just think, oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only Dragon Age Inquisition that I've got close to that now, but that's suddenly kicked in my OCD, so I'm now literally just finding every special secret thing under a bush before I do a next story mission. It's just like, I'm going to kill every rabbit. I'm going to find every seed. I'm going to do everything.
Yeah, I'll try and do that on the GTA as well. In the chat room, Sean McGowan has reminded me that I drove a bus for 10 hours in GTA.
And made all the stops.
Yeah, was it? It was GTA 5, wasn't it? The first thing I did was drive a fucking bus around for hours and hours and hours because I was having so much fun.
Bus driver simulator. That's what you need. That's all you need. You need tractor simulator or something like that, just going up and down. Apparently,
dear.
Fallout or with the terrorists. I think
okay.
that's it now. Yeah.
Well, I'll be going by mine tomorrow then. There we go.
Yes. Well, I'm not. I'm just simply not. I've got like 4 games ready to go, and it's just like, and then tomorrow, Xbox One gets the backwards compatibility, so all the Xbox 360 games suddenly come live on it.
Oh, okay.
Oh God! Now I've got loads of games I haven't played.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, before I get to anything like Fallout 4, I'm not going anywhere near it. Not at all.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the Battlefield.
Yeah,
The Star Wars Battlefield next. I think that's next week.
Yeah.
I'm going to wet my pantaloons when that comes out. I really am.
Your pantaloons?
Yes, my pantaloons. I'm going to put my pantaloons on and then wet them continuously while playing this game.
Will that be your rebel fighting trousers, sir?
I say, Jove, we can smell something, but we can't see him. Where is he?
I don't know. It must be Bantha Poodoo. Let's go find him. Quickly, to the walking perambulator machine.
Oh, they were awesome. I actually got to drive that on the beta as well.
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
Cool.
Okay, so to the task at hand anyway.
Way off tangent.
Yes. Arcades. I have a dodgy affair with arcades. I've been in quite a few.
Right.
I've spent... I don't know how much I want to know. I really have spent a huge amount of money on them. I used to see them as piggy banks, but then that's more like a fruit machine. You see that as a piggy bank, and then you might get your money back later on. You're not too sure.
The arcade probably saw them as piggy banks.
Oh, God, yeah. So, well, have you got a love for the arcade, or, where did it all begin for you?
For me, it started... Now I can remember this really clearly. Basically, Mum and Dad went for a holiday in Broadstairs because that was exotic then back in the day, because you had to drive for hours. And we went down to Broadstairs and we stayed in this hotel. I could probably work out my age by the fact that they had a brand new in the bar of the hotel. They had a brand spanky new Space Invaders machine.
Right.
It was 10p a go, and the first go absolutely wiped out, just got nowhere. But the second go, I figured out that I could sit on the sides and shoot upwards and just take out row upon row and then hide behind things, and I started to work it out. As soon as I did that, that was it. I was on there, I was going back and forth with Dad, can I have 10p? Dad, can I have 10p? And they was just sitting in the bar with some friends and just like, yeah, we can get him out the way. My brother's with the babysitter in the room, in the hotel room, the hotel babysitter or whatever. So he's out of the way. Let's just get Lee out of the way and we can carry on having a drink and chat. And so they just sort of stacked me with a bunch of 10p's. And I spent pretty much a whole afternoon just absolutely caning Space Invaders, to the point where I think I had my first little sort of sexual frisson when I finally actually cleared a whole level. I was like, I don't know what this is all about, but I'm going, oh, that's amazing. I've cleared it. And then it suddenly went, no, you haven't. They all just appeared again. And it was like, oh, bollocks.
Ooh.
I'll be honest with you, obviously I didn't swear, but yeah. But after that, that was it. Every single machine, whether it worked, didn't, anything, I'd be drawn to it all the time. And that was before I even had a Spectrum or any of these, arcades or consoles or anything like that. So I was just like, oh man, I just love it. And it suddenly became really weird, but all arcades have this weird damp smell.
Mm-hmm.
Like a very old pub. And
Yeah.
I just can't get that smell out of my mind now. And I always equate it to arcades. And ever since, really, from Space Invaders onwards.
It's like a damp dog type smell, isn't it? Like wet carpet.
Yeah, it's like there's not enough ventilation in that room, or everyone's been doing 100 jogs around the block and then just lay on the carpet and just sweated into the carpet. It's just something not quite right. Dodgy air conditioner or something like that. It's really a bit. I don't know. It's a bit. You can't even begin to describe it. You can't even say it's like wet cardboard or a damp pub or anything like that. It's just got a smell of its own.
Yeah, I suppose they do have like an aircon type smell to them, don't they? Because they want to keep the punters in there and churning the money in.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Jack Woodgate's just jumped up saying stale BO, spilt Coke and ciggy smoke.
Yeah, that's about it, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about the size of it. But it's also got that sort of a ozone, dodgy air conditioner sort of smell to it.
Mm.
And when it hasn't been cleared out, you're kind of damp.
Yeah. Well, my first interaction that I can remember was my dad used to play squash with his brother-in-law. And we'd all go to the squash club after. And in the squash club, we were kind of dragged there. And at the time, my uncle and auntie didn't have any kids. And so we were like the only kids in the bar.
Mm.
And that in the corner, they had one of these tabletop asteroid games.
Oh, yeah, I mean like Galaxian or Gallagher or whatever they were
Something like that, yeah. But it's really been etched on me because it was such a thing of beauty where you could you could actually put your drinks on the video game where you're playing. And at this point, we didn't have our Acorn Electron or anything like that indoors. This was the thing that we played.
Yeah.
And I think it was about 10 pence as well.
And it was a
And
outrage when it went up to 50.
finding something for 50p now is just, you can't.
Sorry, carry on, Elton. I just jumped in there. 50p? God, I'm outraged.
Oh, I got really angry then for a minute.
I did.
Flipping hell. It being a table and you're looking down onto the computer screen, and I can still kind of feel how that it was around me. You sat there, my brother was on the other side as well, and it was either a 1-player or a 2-player. If he was given at 10p, then you could play one game. If he was given a 10p, he could play against you, and it was just brilliant. I have no idea what game it was, but that was my introduction to it.
Was the screen coloured? Was it a single colour?
Oh, I think it was a white pixels, and that was it.
Oh, right, okay. Because that would have been. I was going to say that was probably. Galaxians.
Right.
Galaxians, but that was actually coloured by the fact that they used to put coloured strips over the screen, like clear cells.
Oh, okay.
So because they couldn't have a coloured TV screen, so the aliens would drop down through the different colours. So as they went, they were at the top, they were red, and as they came closer to you, they went yellow and then blue, and then would fly back up or green.
And that was just like through cellophane.
Yeah, it was just something. So the cheaper ones didn't actually have the colour on them. They were just like bright LED, effectively. They were just shining a light through, expecting to have cell across the front.
Right. Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I was tricked.
You probably. Well, actually, the thing is, it probably shows how old that was by the time you got to play it, because that sort of stuff would actually be sometimes actually in the fit would be the film between the tabletop and the TV screen.
Right. Okay.
So people just sitting there idly picking at it, and eventually they just pull it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
But it was my first interaction with this sort of thing, and it was just like the feel of the buttons, and even when you're not playing and the demo is running, you're still pretending to play and do the actions, and then all of a sudden the demo, and then you're like, I'm playing. What are you doing? Yeah, look at me, look how cool I am. And then all of a sudden it's like insert coin. Like, oh shit, you didn't see that.
Yeah.
But that was. The joy of running up to my dad and saying, "Can I have another 10 pence?" was his face was like, "Ugh." And then my uncle just turned around and said, "Yeah, go on, just take him. Here's 50p worth of 10 pence." And they were good days because I didn't have anything to go back home to play or moan about or compare it to. And so I kind of miss them types of machines. I know you can still get them, and they're like $2,000, I think they are.
Well, funny enough, I was going to say I looked on eBay today just because I thought that had come up, and the cheapest I saw was 500 quid for a renovated Space Invaders machine. But if you wanted a full cabinet with something a bit more pumped up and a bit more current, like I say current, like Operation Thunderbolt or something like that, with the old machine guns on them.
Oh yeah.
Then you're talking sort of $2,500, $3,000 upwards.
And plus, you need an extension to put that in.
Oh yeah, bloody thing's huge.
Yeah, there's your conservatory.
Yeah, exactly. You turn it on, and basically the whole room would just suddenly smell of damp again. Damp air freshener.
You'd have to have that pub carpet in there as well, wouldn't you? Maybe cigarette burns. Just throw dirty dead ends in there as well.
Kind of strange orange-brown pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah. Slightly soft underfoot like moss.
Oh, jeez. And if you tripped on it and put your hand in it, it's like, horrible nap to it as well.
Yeah, it's like it was like someone had got fuzzy felt and just stuck it to a piece of cardboard and said, "That's carpet. There you go."
Yeah.
Off you go. So I'm going to ask you a question. Where was your first? Oh, there's a message coming up. When was your first actual arcade? Where was it? Not just the pub, but where was the actual arcade?
My first arcade was... hello, Andy, by the way.
Hello. Hello.
It was on holiday with my mum and dad. My granddad had just passed away, and we took my nan with us down to a caravan. And on the caravan site, there was an arcade.
Mm-hmm.
And it had all the normal arcades where you had the fruit machine and the little out of bounds of, kids, don't go in here, but if you put a quid in, oh well, we're not going to moan about it.
Yeah.
And it was actually, I think there were pound coins. Jesus Christ. Did they have pound coins? I'm not too sure.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think they would have.
No.
But, the game I got hooked on down there was Operation Wolf and RoboCop.
Yeah, the RoboCop, that was fucking impossible to play. Was that the one where you had the actual handle to steer, and then you had the dial to rotate his hand? No,
this was just a joystick thing, and if you wanted to shoot up, then you had to point up.
Oh right, okay. Because I always remember there was Oh no, that's Tron. Sorry, I'm getting confused with Tron, where you used to have to sort of move backwards and forwards using a stick, and then use the dial to actually rotate the arm
Yeah.
of the character. No, I just remember playing RoboCop once, getting to the Ed 209, and it just shot the shit out of me, and that was the end of that.
Yeah, bastard things.
Yeah, not good.
Andy, go on.
Hello.
Join in the conversation.
I just thought I'd relate my experience with arcade machines very briefly is back in the day, way back when, my dad's old job used to be installing jukeboxes, fruit machines and arcade machines into pubs and leisure centres and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So when I was growing up, our garage was full of, like, not so much the arcade machines, but, do you remember pinball machines?
Mm-hmm.
Used to have the Addams Family one sat in the garage for the longest time, which was amazing because, if you got the ball up in the top corner, Thing's hand would come out and grab the ball and it would disappear. It was like the most amazing thing ever and is now worth an absolute fortune. And I don't have it anymore. This sucks. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Growing up, always had these arcade machines and things lying around the house, usually in pieces. And then when he went to install them, we'd come along. So, we'd get into the pub, like at the age of 8, before it all opened up and everything like that, and just if you opened up the front door where the money went, there's a little switch. You just flick the switch and give yourself infinite credits. It's the most amazing thing ever.
So did you have all the keys for the arcade machines?
We still probably still do actually. There was a ton of keys in the old garage, but yeah, it was. You had all these, the coin mechs and the keys and all this, and they could swap them out. So, I'm sure that every landlord had his own keys for whatever and everything. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those ones. Growing up, it was always around there sort of thing, and I just got very fond memories. I never really went to arcades though as a result to play them, so I never really had that whole Flynn's arcade sort of experience. There was an arcade not too far from me in the old Japanese shopping centre they had called the Sega Dome, and that had Afterburner, was it?
Which one? Because there was the last big Afterburner was one called G-Lock, which I was going to get to a bit later.
Sorry. I just remember it was one you sat in this chair and you had a joystick sort of thing, and the plane would kind of veer slightly left or right, and that was about it.
Yeah, that's just standard. That was just standard. That was just standard Afterburner. No, G-Lock was something that they had at the Trocadero, which was Afterburner 3, effectively. And, it was. It's to this day, it still astounds me that anyone didn't get killed in it. But basically, it's if you can imagine a wheel, and inside the wheel was the chair and the controls, and the wheel itself was on like a spindle, a bit like the big machine from Contact.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can picture that.
And so as you turned, the wheel would kind of rotate round. This thing was about 15 feet across, and so you would strap yourself in, and as you pulled up, the whole thing would literally be able to loop 360.
Wow.
I've seen that in action.
Left and right, yeah. Well, I sat in it and I did one Afterburner sort of loop, which you're supposed to do anyway. For people who've never played Afterburner, you get shot by a missile and it goes missile coming in. You have to do a loop so you avoid it. Well, after the first one at high speed, suddenly going left, right, 360, I was like, actually, you know what? I don't mind dying. I'm quite happy to die. My £3 has been well spent. I'm never getting in that damn thing again. And there was a big red button that if you ever started to get ill, you could hit it and the game would just reset. The amount of times that just reset, and the smell of puke in that area, because the Trocadero was like a basement when it was arcade with G-Lock. And it was like, you kind of walk around there, it just smells a bit antiseptic around here. It's like the amount of people who got in it went, yeah, this would be great for, fuck I know. You can imagine it didn't last long.
But that machine was so loud as well.
Yeah.
I think I've seen the Trocadero one, because I remember Dance Dance Revolution being down there the first time I saw that. And there was about 4 cabinets of that. But I've seen both of the Afterburner ones. One where you're just sitting in it and it moves ever so slightly, and the one that twisted and spun you around. I've seen that. I've stood next to the person doing that, and it is impressive watching it, but I had no intentions of actually getting inside that. I thought, no, it's just not worth it at all.
No. Like I say, it's something you do once. Once.
And then throw up all over yourself.
Yeah, throw up all over yourself, or feel like someone's trying to drive a knitting needle through your ear, or push a thumb into your nose.
Yeah, but that is the problem with arcade venues, is that they're all competing with each other. And so the sound just builds and builds and builds.
Yeah.
And once you're in the game, it needs to be as loud as it can, so it can mask all the other games trying to announce themselves to you. And that's why they're so flipping loud. And you get in there like, Christ! You're all of a sudden shot back by the force of the voices, and because you don't want your ears to bleed while you're in the game.
They've got one at the Trocadero right now. It's a Star Wars one, and I was there with Darren. And you sit in this glass cockpit sort of thing, and, you know, it all closes and you're enclosed inside and all that. It's quite nice and pleasant, air conditioned, big wraparound screen, £2 a go. And if you finish the level, you have to put in £2 to advance to the next level.
£2?
Yes.
We were just lamenting the 50p.
Anyway, with that lovely thought, I will leave you gentlemen to it. So, TTFN. Oh, yeah, I was just to drop in to say, yeah, I used to have arcade machines. Sucks to be you guys. And like that, into the night. I might be back later.
With a puff of smoke like a ninja, he was gone.
Smoke bomb!
No smoke bombs. So hang on. So you had cabinets in your garage. Oh, he's gone. I was going to hang up on the bastard, but he's gone.
You'll get used to it. Don't worry.
Git. I'll have him next time. I'll get you, Gadget.
He'll be back.
Yeah. Oh, what was I going to say? Might as well go into the Trocadero. Why not?
Well, I was going to say, okay. I mean, did you used to go to the Trocadero?
No, I have been to the Trocadero a couple of times. I remember seeing Dance Dance Revolution down there for the first time, and seeing people just doing skills on there that I was like, hang on, people are dancing on video games, what the hell is that? And it was just opening my eyes to new things. And then games that I realised I'm not going to go anywhere near. I just look stupid playing Dance Dance Revolution now.
You never once gave it a go.
Oh, I've given it a go a couple of times, yeah. Not with many people around, and definitely not with a crowd. That's never going to happen.
Dancing to steps.
5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. But
Yeah.
Trocadero had a big... didn't it have a drop ride in the middle of Trocadero?
Later on it did. I
Yeah.
mean...
That's the sort of area the time that I was there.
Yeah, because I was going to say, because the Trocadero went through a couple of phases, because there was the arcade that used to sit in the basement, which was the one with G-Lock, and it had those virtual reality ones as well. Because it had like 4 virtual reality cabinets where you could stand there and just do gun shooting, and it was shit, and it didn't work ever. And then there was also Alien War down there.
Yeah, that was the walkthrough thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The haunted house horror thing.
Yeah.
We'll get to that another time, I think. It just distracts me, that one. Then they moved the whole thing upstairs, and that's when they got a massive arcade and they actually put bumper cars in. And that's when I think the drop ride came in.
Okay.
Because then it was like more like a sort of mad, crazy supermarket kind of thing going on. There were shops and rides and all sorts of stuff, and they were just trying anything just to stay afloat. But the upstairs arcade at that point became 2 floors, and that's when you got the whole thing with 5 or 6 Daytona Raceway games.
Right, okay, that's the NASCAR game, isn't it?
NASCAR, yeah. That was my go-to every time I was in London. That thing, because it was multiplayer, and it was me and Jess Taylor and occasionally Darren when he came up with us on these things, and every time it was like a pilgrimage. You had to go and sit in this thing, and like there'll be 3 of us going, and we'd do the Daytona Raceway, and that was I always think that was when I was at the peak of my skills, because just toast everyone on that thing. and then I got into Street Fighter 2 when they suddenly put like loads of cabinets in behind it, and then suddenly a load of sort of kids from Chinatown would just come in and just pick you apart and
See,
take money.
This is just before the bubble burst, then, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm not saying it's my fault, but my fault.
I blame PlayStation and Xboxes for it. That's the real reason why it's all died.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing, wasn't it? Because when your arcade had better graphics and better gameplay than your consoles, that was the only way you could do it.
Well, wasn't it already creeping in with the Neo Geo? The Neo Geo was giving you the arcade feel at home with the arcade stick and the arcade graphics, but without the expenditure.
Yeah, but then to get a Neo Geo, I mean, it was like, you had to stand on your head and wave a shoe in the air 4 times on an even song day, and make sure that the sun was blood red in the wane. I mean, it was, and also have like 400 quid for import.
Yeah,
I mean, they're really expensive and really hard to get for a while. I mean, it was the first PlayStation that really put the boot in, and the Super Nintendo, because that was it. It was Street Fighter that did it. When you had the Commodore 64 and the Commodore Amiga and the Acorn and the BBC, and the only way you could play Street Fighter was if you had, a disc for the main game and a disc for every individual character. So you had like 15 discs. So if you wanted to play the game, and you'd have to go, right, I want to play this character versus this character. You put the disc in and go, da, 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 da. Now load this character. Da, 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 now put the original game back in. Da, 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 da. And they go, right, okay, now where are you playing? Oh, you're playing in Brazil. Insert disc 24. Da, 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 da. And then it go, you play for like 1 minute, and the guy would kick your ass, and you go, oh yeah, because I've only got one stick on my controller instead of the 9 that I need. Oh, shit, I've died. And then it go, now insert disc 1 again. It would take you like 3/4 of an hour to play a 2-minute game.
Oh, don't remind me. Flipping hell.
So as long as that was the case, the arcade was the only place to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. See, quickly going back to the Neo Geo, I'm guessing that you used to watch Games Master when it was on TV.
Yeah, with Dominic Diamond.
Yeah. And you always had the people turning up for cheats towards the very end, and the little fucking bastards with the Neo Geo, and they're like, oh, but I can't do this, but I've spent £400 on this and £100 on the game, but I can't do this. And you just sat there going, I hate you, I really hate you.
Yes. My name is Tarquin Farquhar, and my father, who's a merchant seaman and has a massive investment in a corporate offshore, bought me a Neo Geo and 65 games, and it's cost him about the same as the price of a Mercedes. I can't beat Sonic the Hedgehog.
I can't do the baseball game. I always bat out. I don't understand it. And you're thinking, hang on, I don't think you should be playing baseball.
Yeah. You, mate, should be counting your lucky stars that you got something that's worth more than most people's houses to be.
Bastards.
Invest your fucking time.
See, I was sat there going, I want a Mega Drive. I really want a Mega Drive. And all these people coming up with cheats and asking questions about, how can I do this on this last level? And the fucking Neo Geo bastard would turn up and he's like, oh, go away.
Yes. Excuse me, peasants. I don't know if you've heard from someone equally as rich as me, but do you know how to score a goal in Super Soccer? Fuck off. Anyway, yes. I mean, I like I say, I think the arcade sort of died out once it became cheap and popular with things like the Mega Drive and the SNES and the PlayStation. Yeah. That was it. The 16-bit era came in, and that was the end of it.
Yeah. So before it did die out, what are your favourite games that you've ever played in these sort of places?
Oh, well, I mean, it's, I still go into arcades to this day. I still go into the one in Brighton on the pier, which has a massive arcade. So you still play games there, and it's really good fun.
I feel like when you do go into them nowadays, though, it's kind of, you're looking for nostalgia, but it's never there.
Yeah, but you still get that weird damp smell. You still get the noise that's so loud that you sort of walk out wondering if you've got tinnitus for the next 6 days. I mean, it's all still there. The nostalgia's still there. The games are just so advanced that you just sit there going, but I've played Jetpack Joyride on my iPhone. Why do I want to sit here and pay 10 quid to play it?
Mm-hmm.
But my favourites, I mean, I had like 4 favourites. I had, when I wanted to play multiplayer, I had the Daytona one. Then I also had Gauntlet, which was great fun if you had 4 people who were working together. Gauntlet.
What,
you remember?
What happens? No, I don't. I've probably seen it, but I don't remember it.
As soon as I describe it, you'll know it. Basically, it's a massive cabinet, massive. And basically, there was 4 joysticks and 4 buttons and a big TV screen. And you would all stand around the cabinet. And essentially, one of you would be a wizard, one of you could be an elf, one is a barbarian, and another one is a magician.
Oh, that's like Golden Axe, isn't it?
No. This one, and you were looking top down. So it's like little tiny, so you were looking like on the head and the shoulders of your character, and you could see the map. And the idea was you were supposed to work your way through the map, and all these things would attack you. And you had to work together. So, like, the elf could fire from a distance, and the barbarian could take more damage, so he could be up close. And the magician was very, very weak, but his weapons were very powerful. So you had to work as a little team, working through these really narrow little mazes.
Oh yeah, I've seen a couple of images of it now.
Yeah, and it used to have voice, which is like when you had a Spectrum or a 64, and it first did something like Ghostbusters. And they went, and you sort of went, fuck, that's magic.
Yes.
That's a miracle. It's the same with Gauntlet. It used to go, the warrior needs food badly. And so you would have to your characters would have to sort of defend him while he went and looked for a little bit of food off the map. And you have to scroll around. It was a really good game. I mean, trust me, if you've never played it before, even to this day, it's still a good game.
It's a really good game. I mean,
that's Sean.
Hello.
Sean, mute your feed.
Mute your feed, Mr. McGowan.
Hello.
Hello.
There we go.
What's up, gentlemen?
Well, hello. How is this working across the oceans?
It's a miracle of technology that's however many years old.
Yeah, at least 15.
Something like that.
I was going to say more than 5.
But I had to call in because you started talking about Gauntlet, and that was like my game back in the day.
Right, well, I'm going to sit back and let you two talk about Gauntlet for a bit then.
Someone's disappearing off for a cup of tea.
No, I'm still here. I don't remember this.
Well, I mean, the funny thing about Gauntlet and other multiplayer games, like what I absolutely loved about the days in the arcade, I mean, you'd go there sometimes with your friends, and other times you'd go there by yourself. Like, I don't know about you, maybe I always felt this way. A lot of people, you'd end up in the arcades, especially maybe on a school day. You didn't feel like going. You'd end up there. Or if, it was a place to hang out. Like, it was one place you could go by yourself or with friends and just have fun doing like what you wanted to do, which at that age, at that period of time, was playing video games. Again, the pre-console era, or before consoles, got to what they are today, where we could stay inside and play them and do nothing else. That's what you did. You went out. But what I always found fascinating is games like Gauntlet. You'd get together with people like in public, and like if you didn't know anybody, like you could have a game where nobody knew each other, but you're all playing that game and you're all into it. And then as soon as the game was over, you kind of went back to being antisocial. It's like you were only linked for that moment you were playing that game.
Yeah. It was like Halo, but without the teabagging.
Yes.
Or 3-year-olds coming up and basically telling you you're suck and they're gonna kill your mum.
Yeah, but what's odd is that you really because you were playing it in person. I mean, you would get if somebody was fucking up, you would get people urging them to, hey, listen, maybe move on. But it was odd because now, whereas today you play a game like that or any multiplayer game, fuck off, noob, if you're not doing it, the way everyone wants you to, or if you're not succeeding. But back then it was that weird, we didn't have, you didn't have the anonymity. You had the people standing there right next to you. So you just kind of, there was a pecking order to it. You had maybe one person on the table who might tell you off or tell you what to do or whatnot. But most of the time, I mean, at least in my experience, you'd have everybody kind of looking around the table at each other like, all right,
yeah,
Dean's got to get off the table. He's killing us.
Yeah, but in the case of something like Gauntlet, it was all about communication, wasn't it? It was all about look, this guy's dying, but we need him to get past, because there was this thing, Elton, where basically there was a character called Death, and he would basically home in on you and basically suck all your life out of you if he touched you. And the only way to get rid of him really was if you kept your wizard alive, and he used the potions to kind of wipe the slate clean.
Right.
And so you would have to make sort of mad dashes to sort of lure Death away using your strongest character and keeping your wizard alive so he could go somewhere else on the map and pick up the potion. And, it required a level of strategy communication to actually succeed, which was a little bit more than just what you get on even on games like now, where people just go, shoot him in the head, noob. Fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
And
it definitely required. It's weird because the game was less technologically advanced than what we have now in our living room, but yet it had more, I don't know, meat to it, for lack of a better, I think because back then, I think, games, it was all kind of new, and there was the technology grew slowly until it all of a sudden exploded. Yeah, and I think that, like a game like Gauntlet was a tabletop game in electronic form. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And the other thing is, it's kind of like it was kind of novel because it was kind of like an open world, because even though you had a map with a limit, you can't go past certain places, the way you could approach something and was quite unique. You could say, well, I'll take this route through the map, but you didn't necessarily always succeed if you just followed the same old route. It wasn't like Space Invaders, I can always succeed if I do this, and this. The bad guys would adapt, and or at least you'd make one fatal mistake and everything go to pot, and you'd all have to adapt. And to me, that's it's a bit like chess or like drafts or even checkers, as they call it in the States. But it's like it's a simple game, but the permutations and the way to play it
there are many nuances to it.
Exactly. So it's, in some ways, that's the beauty of arcades in a nutshell. They're so simple, yet they give you just enough that you don't have to play by rote. And it, like as you say, on online games now, where people just go, you must go up here on this tower, you must shoot this guy, you must do this. It was Gauntlet was an amazing arcade game. I loved it to bits, and its sci-fi sequel, which was Quartet.
Well, the difference between now and then is you were stood next to someone.
Yeah,
but
it was.
It could be anyone. They could just come in and they had their own coin slot and everything. Yeah. So just step straight up and they just put the coin slot in and put the coin in the slot, and it wouldn't even do that thing where the credit would go to another player and someone just slaps the player one go thing. It would be like you put the coin in the elf slot, you are standing at the elf thing, you can now tap into the game.
Yeah.
Just jump in and out.
One of the other big ones back in the day, I remember, was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You'd always get. I always had, if Donatello wasn't available, I wasn't playing, because really? That was just it. Bow staff was my weapon of choice.
Oh no! But, I was Banners, man, all the way. Leonardo.
See, we would all make a good team because I was always Raphael.
Oh, look at that!
Let's get this arcade. I've got a sack full of 50p's. Let's go. We could play one game.
All right. Well, I gotta buy a plane ticket though. See, so it's gonna put me back a little further.
See, that was a glorious game. especially to play with all your friends as well.
Yeah.
It was teamwork per se, but you could kick the crap out of how many stormtroopers you wanted to, or foot soldiers they were called, weren't they? But it was very similar to like the Simpsons games as well, where you take control of a person on a Double Dragon type.
Yeah, it was Double Dragon, Golden Axe, Altered Beast, all those kind of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing with a game like that, getting back to the social thing, unlike a game like Gauntlet, where you definitely had to work together, you play a game like Ninja Turtles, and really the whole point of the game is just keep the game moving, and you would play with however many people, and the idea was okay, just keep moving left, keep the screen moving, and it was one of those things where if somebody wasn't kind of holding their own, the rest of the team would kind of just pick up the slack. All right, well, we're going to beat the shit out of everybody then. We're going to but the social aspect that's interesting is, and maybe it was different over there. Over here, you really did, you would get people that would get annoyed at people who couldn't play. But there was almost like an unspoken code, you know what, I'm not going to really call him out. I don't know this guy. I'm not going to really call him out. And you'd get annoyed. Maybe you'd stop playing. You move on to something else. It's just interesting that, and it's no surprise, I guess, in person, the rules are certainly different when you're playing with people as opposed to, now online, you're going to get called out for even playing a game right, just not playing it the way someone else wants you to play it. It'd be interesting how much of that would change I haven't been to an arcade in years. We have them here. They're down the shore mostly. But I really haven't stepped foot in one in since I was much younger. I wonder what it's like now, if that dynamic of playing in person would still be the same, or if people these days would be more likely to say, hey,
Well, funny enough, it's weird. It's gone the other way. I go, as I said before, I go to an arcade as sort of it's almost like a weird family tradition. We go down to Brighton, which is down on the coast, and they've got a massive arcade on this pier. And the kids nowadays, when you play the arcade game, even ones that don't dispense money, what they do is they dispense tickets, and then you get bundles of tickets. But if by the end of the game you've played, I don't know, Bejeweled, and you got to level 5, you get 50 tickets, and then you can reclaim them as really naff prizes, I don't know, Minions rubbers and all this kind of thing. So I get to sit there and go, hey kids, I'm going to go play this arcade game, and you're going to get all these tickets. And they're like, yay! And then they go and spend 4 hours just standing there trying to debate whether or not they want a glow stick that will last 5 minutes, or a balloon which has the face of a dog on it. And so what happens is I go there, and it's quite interesting because all the social games now, which tend to be gun games, things like Time Crisis, the new Terminator Genesis one, and a couple of others, an Aliens one, people don't go near them. People just do not go near them.
Really? Huh.
And so what you end up with is one person gets on it, and then everyone just stands back and waits for that person to finish, and then they'll jump off themselves.
So they'll only play those multiplayer games if they're playing with people they know.
Yeah, it's almost like, well, it's pretty much like I am on Xbox One and on Xbox 360. I'm not going to play multiplayer with some arsehole who's just going to sit there and give me shit. Play and play badly themselves. I'm going to play with people I know who I can give shit, and we can have a bit of a laugh about it. It's kind of like Go on, sorry. It's
just interesting. It sounds as if, back in the day we just accepted this is how you have to play, but now it's. I wonder how much of that is because of the console games, and that's kind of become the way we think because of exactly what you just said. I'm not going to play with some asshole. Why would you, if you're not going to do it at home? Why would you now do it out in an arcade?
Exactly. Well, maybe I don't know. It's just. It's a society thing now, isn't it? It's like fear the stranger. We don't know who this person is. Yeah, so I fear the unknown. But a lot of, and the other thing in the arcade is, apart from the big games, all of the other games tend to be ones that you can find on your phone. There is Jetpack Joyride. Was it Bejeweled? What was one. Oh, Temple Run.
Oh yeah, that's on mobile now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Been
which
on there
is
for a long time.
it's quite interesting because it uses the same old trackball. Which uses the same old trackball where you roll it. You know, like you used to have with Missile Command.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Which always had the trackball that was just a little bit too small. So when you roll your hand across it, you always caught your bloody skin.
Yes.
Fucking
Oh my God, yes.
all the time. So yeah, I mean, I pretty much looked like I was self-harming after an hour of playing Missile Command.
I'm glad you bring that up because there is like a golf game that we used to play in the pubs, and you know, to get a hole in one or to get a longest shot, you had to take a run up on this thing and then hit it as hard as you can with the palm of your hand, and hope that it, you know, sent the ball as far as you want it to. And yeah, your hand would come down on the other side of the sphere, and then end up your skin would want to carry on going around the sphere, and your hand doesn't want to, and so it would pinch. And you're like, "Ugh," and you end up with little marks on the end of your, like the base of your hand, and you think, you flipping hurt me.
Yeah, I mean it's almost. I mean, you could almost do a whole section of this cast tonight on arcade related injuries, because I mean I played Street Fighter at one point. Once I'd been playing it on the SNES and what have you, I've started playing it in the arcade, and I played it so much. We used to go and get chips from my first job when I was 16. We used to go up to the chip shop, and there was a Street Fighter 2 box, and I would play all the guys from the warehouse, depending who takes me up, and I went and got chips and stuff. And it got to the point where I literally had wanker's wrist from too much Street Fighter. I mean, I must have literally, I literally could have bent iron with just my forefinger and a thumb.
Oh my God.
Bloody hell. Right,
Yeah.
I don't want to cut things short, but we're running low on time on Mixler at the moment. We've got about 3 minutes left.
Okay.
So can I suggest we all take a little potty break and then come back for a part 2, if that's all right with everyone? Lee, are you all right with that?
I'm perfectly fine. I can come back for a part 2, part 3, you name it, I'll be here.
Okay, cool.
I will sign off right now, and I will look forward to hearing part 2.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to phone in again, mate. That's the beauty
I
of
might,
this
or
thing.
I might convince the wife to join.
Yeah.
And I'd just like to say hello to Badger Spry, who's just turned up just in time for us to sign off.
Well, don't go anywhere for 10 minutes. He can have a, let Badger go have a little potty break as well. And then we'll be back in about, 10 minutes or so, and then take part 2 up.
Yes, we will. And it'll be great.
Yes.
Arcades forever.
Right, so, well, thank you very much, Sean, for phoning in, mate.
Always happy to.
And maybe we can get Melissa to do Michelangelo, and then we got a full team.
Beautiful. Bye.
Okay, cheers, mate. Ta-da.
Hey.
Right, okay, so we're running really low now. Are you all right with doing that?
Yes, I'm perfectly fine. Seriously, don't worry about it. I'm going to be up till 2 in the morning anyway, so...
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Right, well, I'll press stop on this, and then we'll go grab some drinks, and I'll let you know when we're starting again. Yeah?
Yes, brilliant. Okay.
Okay.
So, see you later, Mixler people, for at least 10 minutes.
Yes, definitely. I'll see you guys in a minute. Ta-da.
Bye.
Hello. Yes, this is the Shonky Lab. I have brought Lee in to talk about arcades this week. I have been in arcades. I'm sure you have been in arcades, frequented them every now and again.
Yes. More than I should really, especially at my age.
Yeah, I find like I'm still drawn to them, like a moth to the flame every now and again.
No.
But for the new listeners, listening for the first time, either on a podcast or on the Mixler site, Shonky Lab is your show. I can't emphasize that more. Wait, stop it.
That's right.
It is a podcast which goes out whenever I record it, whenever I get the time to record it or the inclination to record it. Things have not been good recently, and so I have not put anything out because I'm not going to put out utter guff. I'm yet to see how this turns out, though.
No, it'll be fine, Elton. It'll be fine.
Oh, no. So if, for future reference, if guys want to, you can go to mixler.com/shonky-lab, and you can listen live on there, and talk and chat and type and stuff like that for you chatty, typey type people, and interact with us. You can also Skype in. I'm not too sure if anyone's going to or not tonight, but there is the option of people to Skype in and join us in the...
And hours, and and lots of people going ooh ah, and then getting eventually bored until something really big explodes or someone catches fire, and it felt like we sort of stepped onto the heath at 8:00. The fireworks went, and we stepped off the heath at about 8:05.
Bloody hell!
At least it felt that way, and there 100,000 people going. Was that it? It was like, oh, okay. But anyway, them's the breaks, them's the days. So apart from fireworks and that, I've been doing some stuff for Mr. Palastides, and doing some graphics and just chilling out before I start my new job in 2 weeks.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah. How about you, sir? How you been?
Well, I have to admit, I'm quite surprised that you're not joining the masses on playing Fallout 4 tonight, where it seems like they released that, and I was like, oh yeah, it'd be a good night to do a podcast, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the perfect night when only the hardcore will drop everything to come and listen.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. So, yeah. So, am I keeping you away from that? Have you bought it? Are you going to it or not?
I'll be honest with you. This is a little confession here, especially since we're about to talk about video games. But I don't actually like the Fallout series.
Really?
I don't like it.
Okay.
I get it. I see why people like it. But to me, it's just
conversation, whether it be about the topic that we're talking about now, or something completely different. I don't know. It's up to them. It also come out on a podcast, which is at shonkylab.co.uk, which is on iTunes and all your other podcasting chat thingamajiggies, where you grab the show and then listen to it on your phone and such. So there we go. That's the intro done.
That's great. That's smooth as silk, Elton.
Yes, you're
Super
welcome.
polished.
You're welcome. Anyway, so arcades. No, actually, no. I'm going to ask how you are. So, Lee, how are you?
I am fine. I'm sitting here in my Santa slippers. I've already got into the spirit of things.
Really? You're like the grumpiest bastard I know.
Thank you. I'll be leaving now. Yeah, no. It's just I've got they're very comfy slippers, so I'm keeping them. So there, and they're lovely. And I've been wearing them since 2013, I think, if I remember rightly.
Wow.
And yeah, so I'm into Santa slippers, which means it's starting to get cold. So heating chicken has kicked in properly.
Ah, okay.
And I went to fireworks, which was very nice, though they didn't seem to last very long.
Whereabouts did you go?
Blackheath.
Oh, okay.
Because I always have memories of fireworks going on for like hours.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Shonky Lab. Yes, we're back again. I'm Elton McManus, and this is my good friend Lee Metcalf.
Well, hello there. Hello, listener land.
It's exciting, isn't it?
It's very strange.
It is a little bit, isn't it? Yeah. Weird stuff happening.
Yeah, it's very weird. But I'm looking at the chat room. I can see lots of people there. It's all good.
Hey, this is bonkers, man. If Black Dog did this, you'd have like 100 listening to it straight away.
Well, I don't know about that.
Maybe 100 hecklers throwing shit at us. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I can see the chat going up. I can see Andy Palastides there, Jack Woodgate, Sean McGowan. They're all there.
Yeah.
Hello. Well, just there's something about it. I think I played the first and the second one when Darren was getting into it, really getting into it, and he was into like, oh, you got to see this. It's amazing, and it was like an isometric RPG, and I'm like, yep. And then the third one came out, and yeah, and basically as it came out, it was like I got it on the Xbox. And there was this opening sequence, and there's a big gunfight, and all this sort of stuff going on. And I thought, oh, brilliant! And I went to shoot someone in the face, and I was standing there. I'm being told, stone him, stone the blasphemer on the chat there. And I stood right against the bad guy. I mean, literally one of those sort of when you're not very good at shooting games, and you sort of run straight up to them, so you're like literally like their eyes are filling the screen. I pointed the gun at him, pulled the trigger, and missed. And it's like, what? And then it's this whole thing of like, oh, actually, it doesn't really shoot. You don't really shoot. It makes a dice roll behind the scenes. And depending on your skill is whether or not you actually hit them. And it's like, really?
Oh, it's like reading a book, but without keeping your finger in the page, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit like that. It was just like, I was just like, really? Oh, right. Okay, so I could be the best sharpshooter with the steadiest hand in the world, but if this dice roll goes south, then I miss. It's like, oh, that's bollocks. I'm not playing that. And I after Liam Neeson